So here is question 1. And I want everybody to be involved in this. Okay. Send your answer in the Zoom chat, but make sure you are sending it in private chat. Okay. Don't send it in to everyone. This will influence other answer as well. So don't send to everyone. Send it to me. Select my name in the Zoom chat and send your answer directly to me. Okay, so who want to read this question? Anybody want to read? Okay, so let's start with Bijay. Yes, Bijay.
You okay?
Okay, you are managing a project with high-level stakeholders. During a status meeting, two senior stakeholders begin arguing about the project direction. One demands change that are out of scope. The other insists on sticking to the original plan. What should you do first? Answer A, immediately agree to the changes to avoid conflict. Answer B, escalate the issues to the project sponsor. Answer C, facilitate a discussion to understand both stakeholder perspectives. Answer D, send a written summary clarifying the original scope.
Okay, great. I can see all answer came in. Okay, and it all is private. Good. So I can see answer from Meenu, Bijay, Salaudin, and Abdul Rasaq, Vivek, Piyush, Maheshwar. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and see what is the correct answer. You are managing a project with high level stakeholders. During a status meeting, two senior stakeholders begin arguing about the project's direction. So basically, this is the keywords in the question, arguing about the project direction. One demands changes that are out of scope. The other insists on sticking to the original plan. Now, what should you do first? Four options given here. Immediately agree to the change to the avoid conflict. How can you agree immediately? Because in the keywords here, you see saying out of scope. The change the person demanding is out of scope. So you are going to eliminate this. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor. You are not a postman, you are project manager. So you are not the postman who will be like observing the issue and escalating to the sponsor. You are the person to solve the problem. Think, analyze, come with the solution, right? This is your job. This is your responsibility as a project manager. So you cannot escalate it immediately. You need to eliminate this option also. Facilitate a discussion to understand both stakeholders' perspectives. This is something, one of the skill you are using as a project manager, facilitation skill. You are here sitting with both of them, hearing their opinion, and after hearing their opinion, you will be come to the conclusion. Right? Send. So as of now, this is going to be best answer so far. Send a written summary clarifying the original scope. This is also not going your first action. The first action, let's discuss their opinions. Okay. So the best answer is option C. Now look at this answer here. The best first action is to act as facilitator, understanding perspectives before jumping to escalation or change ensures alignment and helps manage stakeholder expectations. It also aligns with interpersonal skills, conflict resolution, a key competency in the people domain. Okay, well done, guy. Now let's move to the next question. Okay, I want anybody to read. Okay, go Salaudin. Please read the question.
You are introducing a new process to your development team. Several team members express frustration and resistance during meetings, saying they prefer the old way. What is the most appropriate action? A. Ignore the resistance since you are the project lead. B. Offer one on one coaching and explain the benefit of the changes. C. Forced implementation since it is management directive. D. Escalate the issues to HR.
All right, I receive your answer, guys. Good. So let's try to decode this question. Question number two is talking about you are introducing a new process to your development team. So a new process you are introducing to your team to use it, but several team members expressing frustration and resistance during meetings, saying they prefer the old way. Now this is about comfort zone, right? The old practice, the old procedure team is using since last 1 year or 2 years, and you came with new process, new tools. Now, of course, this is going to be difficult for the people, but that does not mean they should be not ready to adapt, right? They should be ready to adapt the changes according to the requirement, according to the industry trends, right? So, what is the most appropriate action in this question? Ignore the resistance since you are the project lead. Of course, this is not the correct answer, or it cannot be your first action also. Ignoring resistance is common, right? Resistance is common in the project. People resist, but that does not mean you are ignoring. You have to discuss, right? You have to listen him why he is resisting, what is going on in his mind, right? So this is going to be eliminated. Second one, offer one on one coaching and explain the benefits of the change. I think this is going to be appropriate answer because it is offering one on one coaching, like discussion coaching. You are ready to listen those people, right? So this is going to be appropriate, I think. Third one, force implementation since it's management directive. Now, again, force, it may be correct. Sometimes you force, right? Sometimes there are some procedure come from the top management and everybody avoided this. Everybody use it, right? Whether it is good or bad, since it came from top management, we all have to use. But this cannot be your first action. Maybe this can be your second or third action. After trying this, if still people are not ready, since this is required, if they are not ready, okay, let them go. You can force, okay, you have to use it. So this in this scenario cannot be your correct answer. And of course, this one escalation is also not your first appropriate action. This can also comes later stage. So the correct answer, the best answer of question number 2 is B. Let's see the justification here. Change resistance is common, right? As a project manager, you must demonstrate empathy. You provide the coaching. You should align with the change to the project goals. This response reflects servant leadership, support for change management, and this is the part of people domain. Well done, guys. You all have submitted correct answer. Let's move to the next question. Next question is, anybody want to read it? Okay, let's go. Minu, can you read? If it is okay, no issue. Then
One of your team members reports that a third party vendor is not following local labor regulations, which could result in legal issues for the project. What should the PM do next? A. Ignore the report since the vendor is external. B. Immediately terminate the vendor contract. C. Escalate the issue to the legal or compliance department. D. Ask the vendor to fix it and continue work in parallel.
all right, guys. Everybody, please share your answer privately to me. All right, I can see most of you have submitted your answer. I received mixed response. C, D, C, and D. C and D. Okay. Let's try to decode this question. One of your team members reports that a third party vendor is not following local labor regulations, which could result in legal issues for project. What should the project manager do next? Now, the keywords in the question is not following local labor regulations. Something, the rule, the regulations, do you think can be skipped? No, it is mandatory to follow. You cannot, you cannot escape the regulations, right? So this is what we are clear as of now. It is talking about the regulation which cannot be ignored, which cannot be escaped. That has to be complied, right, in the project. Otherwise, it will create the legal issues for your project. Now, the options given, ignore the report since the vendor is external. How can you ignore this? Even he is external, but he is working for your project, right? So you cannot ignore. So this cannot be your best answer. Number two, immediately terminate the vendor contract. this can be extreme. You don't have to be extreme immediately, right? Termination is extreme case. Before termination, you should be going for other option as well, right? So this you may be going to eliminate as of now. Third, escalate the issue to the legal compliance department. This is probably good because they are the one handle these legal issues, right? Compliance department, contract department, legal department. If they are in your project, in your company, in your organization, they are the appropriate relevant body to handle this kind of issues, right? So escalate, you can escalate it, right? Because in the report you found third party is not following the local labor regulations. Let's see if there is any appropriate. Fourth number is ask the vendor to fix it and continue work in parallel. Since a report is revealing that he's not following local labor regulation, you should not allow him to continue working. He's already violating and you are allowing him to 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 continue the work. I think the best is C here. Okay. Best is C here. Let this legal bodies, contract bodies review the issues, the level of problem, criticality of issues, and let them evaluate and take the appropriate action. Okay. So option C is best answer in this question. Look at the justification. Compliance is a critical responsibility under the business environment domain. You are expected to ensure the project meets legal and regulatory obligations. Involving the legal team is the correct step to assess risk and determine an action plan. All right. Some of you have selected D. Is this clear to you with the justification? Now it's clear to you, or still you have question?
It's clear now. It's clear.
Great. Okay, let's move on. Question number 4. And I want anybody to read it. Okay, let's go with Vivek. Vivek, can you read the question?
You notice that during the sprint reviews, some team members are, the last line is not visible,
Are
consistently quiet. Yeah.
Hmm.
Are consistently quiet and show little interest in contributing feedback.
Hmm.
What should you do? Replace unengaged team members, send individual performance warnings, have informal check-ins to understand their concerns, proceed with only active contributors.
Great. Everybody, please read the question twice, read the options twice, and then select one of the best answer. And keep the record of your score. We will see how many of you have scored how much. Okay, what is your percentage? At end of the session, we will see. Okay. Okay, so I believe most of you have submitted your answer. So let's try to decode the question. You notice that during sprint reviews, some team members are consistently quiet and show little interest in contributing feedback. The sprint reviews is where people give feedback, right? Like the product or the piece of the product that has been developed will be reviewed. Okay, so here you find that some of your members are quite and they are not taking much interest, so they are not giving feedback on the product, right? So this is really uh, not good for the project, because a sprint review is all about getting to know how the product has been developed so far and getting the feedback on it, and based on that feedback we plan another sprint. So this is a really serious issue. What could be the best answer? What should you do? So number one, replace unengaged team members. This cannot be your first action, right? So you are going to eliminate it. Send individual performance warning. This also cannot be your first action. Have informal check-ins to understand there. This can be your action. You are going to discuss with the people to understand the region, and after that you can take the action. Proceed with only active contributors. This is not the permanent solution. Okay, everyone involved in the sprint should be giving their feedback, right? Should be sharing their opinion, right? It is not like inactive and active people. So the best answer is C. Look at this. Low engagement can be addressed through active listening, team coaching, psychological safety. PMs must encourage participation by understanding root causes that demonstrates leadership aligned with people domain expectations. Let's move to the next question. And Piyush, can you read the question?
Yes, sir. You are managing a project with strategic value to the organization. Midway through execution, the sponsor asks if the project is still worth continuing. What should you refer to first to justify continuation? Option A, issue log. Option B, project charter. Option C, benefits management plan. Option D, stakeholder register.
Sir, this question is not related to people domain, no?
You are right. If you have gone through the lecture and training, then you can attempt this question. Okay, I can see most of you have submitted your answer. So let's try to decode the question. You are managing a project with a strategic value to the organization. Midway through execution, the sponsor asks if the project is still worth continuing. So it's kind of evaluation of your project. You are a sponsor asking you how we are doing. Is the is it still okay and worthy to continue the project? Still worthy to keep investing money and time in this project? So what should you refer to first to justify continuation? Issue log? Of course, no. Issue log is all about records of issue so far happen in your project, right? Project charter, somehow you can refer, but this will give you high level information about the project. So no. Benefit management plan, this is best answer, because the benefit management plan will give you a steps how the project will be measured, how the project benefits will be realized. Great. Okay. So Frederick, please read the question.
Your global team includes members from the three continents. One team member refuses to speak up in the meetings, but later sends critical feedback via email. Others see this is a passive aggressive. What's the best action to take? A. Warn the quiet team member to speak up. B. Encourage the team to accept cultural differences and set inclusive norms. C. Ignore the behavior and move forward. D. Escalate the matter to HR.
Okay, let's review the question. Your goal, your global team includes members from three continents. So this question is talking about the virtual team. One team member refused to speak up in meetings, but later he sends critical feedback via email. Others see this as a passive aggressive. What's best action to take? Want the quiet team member to speak up? This cannot be your best action. Okay, you cannot warn him immediately. Just you have better option. First, you have to speak up, right? Encourage the team to accept cultural differences and set inclusive norms, right? This is talking about the cultural difference. Maybe the team who sent email or the team who sent feedback through the email was not comfortable speaking in the meeting in front of different people. So that is acceptable, right? Considering he from different cultures, right? So this can be best answer. Ignore the behavior and move forward. Also, it's ignorance. This is also not a good uh, option in most of the question. When talking about ignore, most of the options starting with ignore, eliminate. Okay, escalate the matter to HR. Also, always like most of the cases, escalating to HR cannot be best answer. So eliminate. So best answer is B here. Multicultural awareness is critical in modern project environments. The PM should create inclusive norms, encourage diverse communication styles, and prevent misunderstandings. This falls under people domain and is a common PMP scenario. Okay, let's move to the next question. Okay, AC Mota, please read the question.
A project delivers a new inventory system output. Which metric best describe business outcomes success? Did you get that?
Yes.
Do I need to read the options?
It's okay.
A, system launched on budget. B, 30% reduction in stock out. C, all training sessions completed. D, user satisfaction scores of 4.5 over 5.
Okay, so I think most of you have selected the answer. Let's try to decode the question. A project delivers a new inventory system output. Which metric best demonstrate business outcomes? Success. Here is two things you need to understand: the output and the outcome. If you don't understand the difference between output and outcome, then you will make mistake. Okay, so outcome and output. Outcome is deliverable. Output is a deliverable, the product that you have created. The outcome is long term benefits, right? So look at this new inventory system output. Which metric best demonstrate? We have to identify the one option here which is talking about the outcome, not talking about the output. Okay, system launched on budget. System is launched. This is a deliverable, right? This is a output. So we don't have to choose this one. We have to choose the one which is talking about the outcome. 30% reduction in stockouts. 30% reduction in the stockouts. Reduction, increase. These are all outcome of the project. By launching the product, it has reduced 30% until 30% the stockouts. So this is long-term benefits. All training session completed. This is a output. Deliverables delivered. User satisfaction scores of 4.5 out of 5. This is again output. So the best answer is B, 30% reduction. Always find the keywords increase, reduce. So these are the long-term benefits for any of the project. And remember the output and outcomes. Understand the difference between both. You see here, so a strategic value reduce stock outs, cost saving. It save the cost. Output are all temporary, tactical. Exam hack, look for verbs like reduce, increase, or improve for outcomes. Okay, is this clear to everyone? I see Meenu, you have selected it. Is that clear to you now?
Yes, it is clear now. Thank you.
Okay. Question, Vivek, please read the question.
A multinational project team recently lost a key stakeholder due to an organizational restructuring. A new stakeholder has joined with different priorities that could significantly influence project outcomes. Which two actions should the project manager take? Revise the stakeholder engagement plan, update the business case, reassess project objectives, conduct a stakeholder analysis, close the project phase.
Okay, great. Everyone, in this question, take care. This question is multiple answer question. You have to select more than one best answer. Okay, more than one. You see, in the question itself, we will give you instruction to choose two or to choose three. In exam, you can get 5 to 10 question on this pattern. All right, I think you guys finding it little bit hard, but yes, you have to practice this type of questions because 5 to 10 questions you can get in your real PMP exam. Okay, most of you have submitted your answer. I see that. Let's try to decode this question. A multinational project team recently lost a key stakeholder due to and organizational restructuring. A new stakeholder has joined with different priorities that could significantly influence project outcomes. So the question is talking about the stakeholder, right? Recently lost a key stakeholder due to organizational restructure. And when there is a new structure, when the structure is defined or restructure is happening, there are people go out, some new people join you. So this is the scenario. In that case, a new stakeholder has joined you with different priorities. Now, this new stakeholder can be anyone, right? Your company CEO, a sponsor, any of the functional managers, project directors, anyone, right? It did not mention the title. So you have to assume this all. And he has different priorities that could significantly influence project outcomes. Which two actions should the project manager take? So first, you see here, a stakeholder engagement plan. Of course, we have to focus on it. Second, update the business case. Maybe not. Let's go for others. Reassess project objectives. Maybe not at this stage. Conduct a stakeholder analysis. Maybe yes. And close the project phase. Maybe no, because this is extreme case. Okay, so by looking at this five options, I found this two relevant. Number one, any of the stakeholders joining you, the number one, what you do, you analyze about him. You gather the information about his role, his influence, his power, and you analyze. After analysis, you come to the conclusion like this is the strategy I'm going to use to handle this stakeholder. So once you come to the strategy, with that strategy, you are going to update this stakeholder engagement plan. So in the first instance, since you have to choose two, these are two, option number A and option number D is relevant in this given scenario. Everyone understood it, or anybody who is not agree with me? So
Understood.
option A and D is correct. And let's see the justification here. Revise the stakeholder and conduct the stakeholder. So number one, you are going to do this first and then you are going to revise this. Okay. Explanation: project manager must reassess the new stakeholder influence, needs, and expectations, and then revise the stakeholder engagement plan to reflect updated strategy for managing them. Okay, let's move to the next question. And I want Salaudin read this question.
A project manager is leading a software development project with a team spread across multiple time zones. Some team members are uncomfortable with video conferencing and prefer written communications. What should the project manager not to do? Improve communication within the team. A, use collaborative tools that support synchronized communications. B, insist on daily video calls to build team fusion regardless of team preference. C, encourage team members to share their communications preference. D, provide clear guidelines for documenting important decisions.
Okay, I can see your answer now. Good. Everybody, submit your answer. Whoever is not yet submitted, please submit. Let's try to decode this question. A project manager is leading a software development project with a team spread across multiple time zones. So it's talking about the virtual team. Some team members are uncomfortable with video conferencing and prefer written communication. So this is here you have to respect the cultural difference, right? Now, what should the project manager note? This is the keywords that you always should carefully read. Note, do to improve communication within the team. So see which options are valid for improving the communication. Those options should be not correct answer here. Okay. Use collaborative tools that supports asynchronous communication. This is you can do for improving the communication, but as per the question, you have to choose the one that is not improving the communication. So this is incorrect. Insist on daily video calls to build team cohesion regardless of team. This is correct because you have to select not. Okay. Encourage team members to share their communication. This is incorrect. Provide clear guidelines for documenting important decision. It's also incorrect. So correct answer is here B. Okay, Salaudin, I think you have selected D. So I think you, as of now, understood. We have to focus this, okay? Not the one you have to select, which you should not do to
Yeah, I
improve the
understood.
communication. Okay,
Yeah.
move on. Here you see, insist on daily video calls to build team cohesion regardless of team preference. Explanation forcing a communication method that does not suit everyone can create discomfort and reduce effectiveness. A good leader should consider team preferences and adapt communication accordingly. Let's move on to the next question. The next question, be big, please read.
A key stakeholder has been missing status meetings and is not responding to project communications. This is starting to impact the project. What should the project manager do next? Escalate the issue to the sponsor, remove the stakeholder from the communication plan, update the stakeholder register, meet with the stakeholder to understand the reason for disengagement.
All right. All right, guys. So let's try to decode. A key stakeholder has been missing a status meeting and is not responding to project communications. This is starting to impact the project. What should the project manager do next? Escalate the issue to the sponsor. Again, you are project manager, not postmaster, right? You have to analyze the situation and try to solve the issue. So this is incorrect. Remove the stakeholder from, this is not going to solve the issue. Update the stakeholder register. This cannot be your first action. Meet with the stakeholder to understand the reason of disagreement. This is going to be first action in this given scenario. Okay, meeting with the stakeholder and discussing the problem. Okay, so meet with the stakeholder to understand the reason for disagreement is the most appropriate next step. Engaging directly with the stakeholder demonstrates proactive communication and helps uncover any issues or constraints affecting their participation. Once the root cause is understood, Further actions can be taken if necessary. Escalating or removing the stakeholders would be premature without trying to resolve the issue directly. Updating the stakeholder register does not address the disagreement. Okay, next question. Frederick, please read the next question.
Your, your project team seems disengaged and is missing deadlines. You tried giving individual recognition, but it hasn't improved performance. What should you do next? A. Offer monetary incentives for completing work on time. B. Arrange a team building activity to boost morale. C. Conduct individual performance review. D. Clarify the project goals and team responsibilities again.
All right, I can see your answer. Let's try to decode the question. Your project team seems disengaged and missing the deadlines. You have tried giving individual recognition, but it has not improved the performance. Okay, what should you do next? Offer monetary incentive for completing work on time? Maybe good. But is this going to solve the problem permanently? Not everyone not everyone motivated with money, right? So this we can eliminate. This cannot be our next section. Arrange a team building activity to boost morale. So arranging a team building activity to boost morale is good idea, but you see there is missing deadlines. So something is not only about morale, team morale. Okay, let's read further. Conduct individual performance reviews. Individual performance reviews will not solve this missing deadline problem that is mentioned in the question. Clarify the project goals and team responsibility again. This is something giving the clarification about the project goals, the objectives, the milestones, the deadlines, why we are doing this project, what is the strategy goal behind doing this project, right? And what is the team responsibilities, what all team will be doing in order to achieve the project goals, in order to achieve the project objectives, right? So maybe first you have to do this in this given scenario. The first you have to do this, and then other action you can go to take. But the best appropriate action in this scenario is the clarifying the project goals and team responsibility again. PMP favor clarity of purpose and team empowerment over financial motivation. Recognition is good, but clarity and shared ownership drive the engagement. Did you understand, guys? Is that clear, everybody?
It's clear. It's clear.
Okay, let's move to the next question. Abdul Rasak, please read this question. Or any other person can read this question. Tajur Rahman, please go ahead.
In a cross-functional agile, the business analyst rotates every 2 sprints, creating inconsistency in the backlog grooming. What should the project manager do to minimize the impact of this rotation on the product backlog? Option A, appoint a senior developer to take over backlog grooming. Option B, have outgoing analysis, create details documentation before leaving. Option C, assign the rotating analysis to only low priority user stories. Option D, eliminate the rotation model and request permanent assignment of analysts.
Okay, I hope you have submitted your answer. Let's try to decode the question. In a cross-functional agile team, business analysts rotate every 2 sprints. Okay, read the question carefully. You are into cross-functional agile teams, and the business analysts are working in rotation. Okay, every 2 sprints, they are going to another project. They are doing another task. Okay, creating inconsistency in the backlog grooming. What should the project manager do to minimize the impact of this rotation on the product backlog? First, appoint a senior developer to take over backlog grooming. Senior developer, if you appoint, then what the product owner will be doing? This is the job of product owner. Okay, this you are going to eliminate. Have outgoing analysts create detailed documentation before leaving. This seems good because you can arrange the procedure like somebody is working into a sprint, and from third sprint, other new people will be coming, or these people will be going to another task. Then have some documentation, what they have done, what are left, right? What are the current situation, issues, challenge, whatever, so that if the new people will be coming, with the help of those documentation, they will be like quickly grab the situation, and there will be very lower impact on the backlog grooming. So this seems good. Assign the rotating analyst to only low priority. This will not solve the problem. Eliminate the rotation model and request permanent assignment of analyst. It is talking about elimination. So you cannot eliminate, since it is talking about you are working in the cross functional. So there are different departments. Okay. And in if you are taking person from different departments, they will be working for you, and then at the same time they will be working for their departments, or they will be going back to their departments, and when you need again, then they will come to you. So since it is cross-functional mentioned here, you cannot eliminate your the people will be working only in that in this way only. Okay. So the best answer in this situation is B. Let's see here. While rotating team members is sometimes necessary in matrix or hybrid organization, it risks loss of continuity and context, especially in areas like backlog refinement and user story clarification. Protect the product backlog, quality, and consistency. The best approach is to ensure smooth handover via clear documentation, shared understanding, and possible overlap periods for knowledge transfer. Is that make sense to you guys? Did you understand? Let's move to the next question. Okay, would you like to read, Meenu?
On an agile team, several developers are frequently pulled into urgent production support, causing delays in sprint commitments. How can the project manager help protect the sprint goals from being disrupted? A. Allow developers to swap tasks among themselves based on availability. B. Ask the product owner to reduce the sprint backlog size during planning. C. Ensure dedicated resources for production support are not part of sprint team. D. Require developers to log their interruptions in a shared dashboard.
I have received mixed response, A, B, C, D, all. Let's try to decode the question. On an agile team, several developers are frequently pulled out. Okay, pulled out from the agile teams into urgent production support, causing delays in sprint commitments. How can the project manager help protect the sprint goals from being disrupted? So, to give correct answer to this question, you must be having understanding about the sprint goals, right? About agile. Now, every sprint is time bound, time box. It may be 1 week to 4 weeks. So every sprint start with certain goals. We are going to achieve result in this sprint number one, sprint number two, sprint number three, sprint number four, right? So every sprint is fresh start, planned with the goal. Now, if there is any disturbance in the sprint, will you be able to achieve the goal? No. So the question is talking about the same situation. What you should do to protect this instability? So number one, allow developers to swap tasks among themselves based on availability. Maybe sometimes it can work, but it is not going to give you full solution, because by doing this you cannot predict the availability of the people. You don't know when people will come, when people can be pulled out. You don't know about it. Ask the product owner to reduce the sprint backlog size during the planning. Again, even he will reduce the size of backlog, and your sprint has started, and the other functional department, they came and say, okay, I need my people, and they pulled out the member. Same situation, you are in the same situation, right? Number three, ensure dedicated resources for production support are not part of the sprint team. This is something, if you can work on it, and at some level, at somehow, you get the commitment to not disturb your team. Whoever will be, you will be receiving, they will be not leaving the sprint until you finish the sprint. So if you are getting this kind of commitment, dedicated resource, this is going to give you the full solution of this disruption. So answer C is okay, I think. Require developers to log their interruption in a shared dashboard. This is kind of attendance. So this is not going to give you the solution for this disruption. Okay, agree? You see here, in agile environments, the Scrum team is expected to be stable and fully available for the duration of the sprint. If developers are routinely pulled into production support, this interrupts their ability to meet their sprint commitments. The best solution is to separate production support duties from the development by assigning dedicated support personnel. This builds the agile team and maintains sprint predictability. Okay, clear? Let's move to the next question. Fazur Rahman, please read the question.
You are leading a hybrid project in a matrix organization. A highly skilled team member is consistently underperforming on your project task but delivering excellent results on their departmental KPIs. Informal feedback suggests they don't prioritize your project. Despite attending all agile ceremonies as project manager, what is the best course of action? A. Engage their functional manager to escalate the concern and request performance redirection. Facilitate a discussion with the individual to understand their motivations and align expectations. Reassign their tasks to another team member to protect project velocity and schedule integrity. D. Raise the issue in the next iteration review and seek consensus with the team on accountability and ownership.
All right, guys. I receive your answer. Let's try to decode this question. One more question we will solve, and after that, we will end up the session. Okay. Okay. Let's quickly finish one more question we will do, and after that, we will wrap up the session. You are leading a hybrid project in a matrix organization. A highly skilled team member is consistently underperforming on your project task but delivering excellent result on their departmental KPI. Informal feedback suggests they do not prioritize your project despite attending all agile ceremonies. As project manager, what is the best course of action? Engage their functional manager to escalate the concern and request performance redirection. Escalation is somehow keep aside. This cannot be your first action. Okay. Facilitate a discussion. Facilitation can be always good option with an individual to understand their motivation, and okay, this can be good. Re Reassign their task to another team member to protect project velocity and schedule integrity. I think this you can do, but the first action is this one, right? Raise the issue in the next iteration review and seek consensus with the team on accountability. This also you can do, but your first action is this, number B, right? So the best answer is B in this. Align with servant leadership and individual motivation, the most PMI aligned step before escalation. All right, let's take one more question. This is the last question. Everybody, good to see your energy level as of now. This is the last question, and I will ask your score so far. Out of 15 questions, how much questions you got correct? I will ask. So just be ready for that. And let's read this question. Use just read this question and let's finish this.
Your project introduces a new AI tool that will replace manual processes. Several senior staff members express resistance and claim it will reduce quality and transparency. Your sponsor urges you to continue rollout without delay. Resistance is growing despite stakeholder workshops. What should you do next? A. Identify vocal resistors and meet them individually to co create adoption strategies and gather feedback. B. Proceed with rollout as planned while increasing communication and offering training resources. C. Recommend a phased implementation to demonstrate early wins and reduce opposition. D. Collaborate with the change management team to redesign the stakeholder engagement plan.
Your project introduce a new AI tool that will replace manual processes. Several senior staff members express resistance and claim it will reduce quality and transparency. Your sponsor urge you to continue rollout without delay. Resistance is growing despite the stakeholder workshop. What should you do next? So resistance is continue despite the workshop done on this change. So what should you do next? Identify vocal registers and meet them individually to co-create adoption strategy and gather feedback. So this is talking about partially like you are talking with only the vocal people. However, you should be discussing with each and everybody, right? So this is going to be eliminate. Proceed with rollout as planned while increasing communication and offering training resources. This here you are ignoring the people. Recommend a phased implementation to demonstrate early wins and reduce opposition. So here again you are like recommending the implementation, phase implementation. So you're changing the timing somehow, you are changing the schedule. And so this is also not going to be solve your problem. Collaboration is something relevant, seems like here, with the change management team for redesigning the stakeholder engagement plan. So here you are basically sitting with the change management team and working on the stakeholder engagement plan. How in this current situation, what all a strategy we should have so that we can engage these stakeholders. So this is going to give you the permanent solution. Align with PMI expectations of collaborative change management